Concern about the conventional military balance really shifting in the Indo-Pacific in favor of China, which has more missiles and more people than the United States.
But reality looks very different here. According to reports, America's billion-dollar drone dream is kind of struggling.
Imagine a billion-dollar tank, a fighter jet, or even a warship that is highly armored could be killed by a cloud of drones that cost less than a family car. It reads like science fiction. However, it has already come on battlefields today, in Ukraine, and even in the Pacific. The camera is moving across a ravaged Ukrainian field. It is not long after sunrise, but the buzzing has already started low, at first and then growing louder and louder, gradually becoming a metallic clattering. Small quadcopters fly up in dozens, hundreds. Each one is cheap, each one expendable. Each of them is a part of a much greater construct. Soldiers look up. Under camouflage nets, tanks retreat. In this case, drones are not simply tools, they are predators. But these aren't the actual threat. The future belongs to the swarms. We jump to 2016. A US fighter airplane darts through the air, dropping a pod. The pod opens. The cloud bursts and 103 micro drones, bigger than the palm, fly out. They don't fly in formation. They don't follow a leader. They are alive as a body, a flock of metallic birds, changing, responding, and communicating. Then to China, a test desert. More than 1,000 drones are released at once, creating shifting geometric patterns in the blue sky. The swarm formations, search patterns, attack spirals, and dispersions are expected to emerge as engineers observe. 1,000 moving parts. One mind. The world's militaries immediately decoded the message. The future is not in creating bigger weapons. It is the creation of additional ones. The prospective buyer can stand in a field and see 800 drones approaching them simultaneously. None of the commanders is ordering them around. No pilot is directing them. They're reading each other and reacting to each other, making decisions as quickly as possible, not as a human being would. It looks as though a lack of order, but it is actually flawless coordination. Each drone is a neuron. Together, they are a brain. This is the hive mind. A swarm works the same way a flock of starlings can twist and ripple without collisions, or how ant colonies find food without a leader. Each drone senses its neighbor's distance, speed, direction, and adjusts in milliseconds. Destroy one drone, and nothing changes. Destroy 50, and the pattern reshapes itself instantly. There is no head to cut off, no pilot to jam, no single point of failure. And as autonomy increases, the swarm becomes even more frightening. Early systems required remote control. Now AI handles movement, path planning, and even target selection. A swarm of 300 drones can generate more tactical decisions in 1 second than an entire human command post can in an hour. War has always been a contest of economics, and this is where swarms flip the entire table. Think of a modern tank, $10 million. A warship, $2 billion. A fighter jet, $100 million. Powerful, yes, but costly. Meanwhile, a functional kamikaze drone can cost as little as $500. In some cases, $200. The math becomes absurd. For the price of one tank, you can build a swarm big enough to destroy an armored division. For the cost of a jet's engine replacement, you can purchase an entire drone army. A single missile fired from a defense system might cost $100,000. Is the drone shot down? $200. But if the defense fires that missile and another drone instantly replaces the fallen one, the defender loses economically every time. This is the first rule of swarm warfare. You can't stop them all, and you can't afford to try. We enter a dramatization. A swarm approaches a modern air defense system. Missiles launch, intercepting the first group, but more drones split left and right. Then another wave rises over a ridge. The system fires again, another $300,000 gone in seconds. Then it stops. Not because the drones are defeated, but because they're out of ammunition. The swarm keeps coming. That's what terrifies generals. Defense systems are built to target single threats: one jet, one missile, one tank. A swarm is not one threat. It is many tiny threats acting as one. You can jam one signal, but a swarm has 1,000. You can shoot one drone, but a swarm can lose hundreds and still complete its mission. The largest war machines, jets, tanks, carriers are suddenly vulnerable. A plane moves fast, but a swarm can predict its path like a pack of wolves reading a panicked deer. A tank has armor, but armor means nothing when a $300 FPV drone can fly straight into the weakest point, the turret ring. A battleship has radar, but a swarm comes from everywhere over the waves, under them, and even inside radar blind spots so small, humans never considered them. The era of the invincible superweapon may be ending, not because we built a bigger gun, but because we built thousands of smaller ones. But militaries are not standing still. The first countermeasure is the laser. A beam of directed energy, silent and invisible, burns drones out of the sky in fractions of a second. A laser never runs out of ammo as long as the power holds. It seems perfect, until you realize it can only hit one drone at a time. Against 5 drones, deadly. Against 500, impossible. Next comes electronic warfare jammers, spoofers, EMP bursts. Early drones fell out of the sky when signals were cut, but the newest swarms don't rely on GPS. They don't rely on the radio. They navigate visually, like insects. They communicate through mesh networks that constantly reorganize. Jam one frequency, they shift. Jam all frequencies, they go fully autonomous. The hive mind doesn't panic when you silence it. It simply rewires itself. So militaries try something new: anti-drone drones. Interceptors that slam into enemy drones mid-air. Nets that capture them. Kamikaze defenders who sacrifice themselves to stop attackers. This works for a while, but building 100 defenders to stop 1,000 attackers is a losing battle from the moment the math is written. So nations start planning differently. They imagine future naval battles where fleets never see each other. Instead, thousands of drones, airborne, underwater, and surface level, form floating walls of surveillance across the ocean. A ship moves, and dozens of underwater drones detect its noise signature. Hundreds of aerial drones converge. Thousands more sweep ahead, like a tidal wave of metal and sensors. A swarm could sink a warship worth billions before it even knows it's been targeted. On land, the picture is even darker. In future cities, the sky itself becomes a minefield. A single soldier might control 400 microdrones, each sweeping a different floor, window, or rooftop. Drones fly into buildings. They check stairwells. They map entire structures in seconds. They hunt. For defenders, every window becomes a threat. Every rooftop is a launch site. Every shadow, a drone nest. And then there are the drone minefield swarms waiting in silence. They perch on rooftops, hide inside abandoned cars, cling beneath bridges. They can sit dormant for hours or days. When a convoy approaches, a vibration sensor triggers. The swarm awakens. It rises in a single motion, like a flock of crows startled from a tree. And it attacks. This isn't the future of war. This is the future of ambush. When there are too many to stop, what happens to war? What happens to defense? And what happens to us? Swarm drones too many to stop?